need my wife to be. Wow. Look at all those comments on there already. I appreciate it, everybody. Comments are going already before I'm coming on live. I'm late by 3 minutes. I'm gonna blame it on the kids, right? Because everybody love the kids. Forgive the kids. No, I can't blame it on the kids. I gotta blame it on Google Fiber tonight for being a few minutes late. I don't know where my headpiece is. So let me go ahead and do the proper introduction that everybody's used to hearing. Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, AKA man of the people, because I work for you guys, fans of Carolina Panthers. I love my job. I love working for you all. The season is among us. It's in less than a week. We will already know the results of the Frank Reich era and Bryce Young. Are we 0-1? Are we 1-0? Are we 0-1? We'll be finding out. But today, we're going to talk about the few little news items. And though it's a few, it's big. But let me also say this. We had a goal of getting to 10,000 subscribers by the start of the season. We're not there yet. We're like, I don't know, a little less than 2,000 short. So please do me a favor. If you're watching this video, you enjoy the content, hit the subscribe button. And everybody else that is already subscribed, hit the like button. And last but not least, turn on your bell notifications so you can join me live. We always go live for the point of interacting with our supporters. So, I don't know where my earpiece is, everybody. So I'm just going to go to my backup earpiece in case anybody wants to call in. But let's go ahead and get started talking about some things. Let me give some shout outs. We also have our memberships up and running. So if you want to join our channel to be a supporter to help us continue to do what we do, which is, more than ever this season. I know you all have been enjoying it. Takes a lot of money to do all that. So anytime you can help support us so we can continue to be an independent media working directly for you all, we appreciate it. Super chats are another way to do so. Let's see what we got. The Mad Chatter says, pay Burns. Burns, be reasonable. You're not Bosa. All right, so I'm certainly going to want to get everybody's opinion on the Brian Burns situation, what you think we should do, what do you think is going on. I'm going to share with you what I think is going on as well. I keep thinking I just changed the color of the comments to be blue, but now that I'm going with the blue background, I feel like it needs to be a different color. See if I can change that real time. Let's see. Look at this. You got real-time editing going. Where else are you going to find that on the internet? Real-time editing. Boom. What do you think? What do you think of being black? Anyway, Christopher Holyfield. What a name. I'll be very disappointed if Burns doesn't play Sunday. Why practice all camp? Excuse me, just to sit out. All right, so lots of good comments coming, and we're going to talk about it. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to go ahead and put this in the comments. This is the link for you guys to join me live and ask your questions, make your comments. So I feel like tonight could be a night that some of you join me. So let me put this in the comments. All right, so it's now in the comments, and not yet, but in a second, you guys can join in. Please call in, cell phone, laptop, computer, whatever you want to. Just make sure we can see you. Hold the camera kind of steady, and we'll have you on and talk about what's going on. Got to give me a new voice. It kind of wears on me quickly here. Nevertheless, let's go ahead into what I want to talk about. Two things that came out of practice today. First one being Marquis Haynes, who most recently had said that he gave credit to the training staff for helping him have his recovery plan, saying he feels good, was extremely confident that he's going to play in the season opener against Atlanta. And then today we get the news that he is not playing in the season opener against Atlanta. By the way, I'm multitasking, trying to get some video ready for the show while we're talking. He's not going to play against Atlanta, and he's actually going to be out for 4 games because he's been placed on injured reserve. So that's quite a turn of events, and it made me wonder, like, wow, if he was feeling so good. Now, we talked to not Brian Burns, we talked to Marquis Haynes last week, and generally if a player's coming back, that's when they make him available. So it seemed pretty good for Marquis was going to be able to be back. But then he wasn't. So I was wondering about if there was some kind of setback because everything was so positive last week. Coach Frank Reich did verify that there was indeed a setback with Marquis's recovery, which then led to him being placed on injury reserve, which also leaves open another roster spot. So certainly we're not done with moves yet for the Carolina Panthers. I believe they had a tryout today that I saw on the transaction report for the NFL. Let me share that with you on who I saw that as being. Chris Wormley visited with the Panthers today. He's like a defensive end, defensive lineman. And he visited the Panthers today, so we'll be seeing if that works out well or what comes out of that exactly. We will be seeing shortly. So in addition for the Marquis Haynes situation, now we have some depth issues, right? Who is going to be playing opposite of Justin Houston? Now, obviously, you would think that's going to be Brian Burns, but we're going to pause that a little bit because basically right now we don't know what we're going to get out of Brian Burns. So that's one missing. Then we got to miss Marquis Haynes. That's two missing. We're missing our edge rushers. And then you have, so who would be X? Who would be up? I'm sorry, DJ Johnson. Well, he's not listed that high on the depth chart, but and I'm glad that he's not because to me he has some work to do to be ready to play for the at the NFL level for the Carolina Panthers. You also have Yetur and Amari Barno. It's going to be either Yetur or Amari that's going to be rotating in opposite of Justin Houston. But then it also makes me wonder, well, heck, Justin Houston wasn't even set to be an every down kind of guy. He was meant to be coming and be a rotational guy. So does this mean that Houston goes into being an every down guy? But I'm not going to get ahead of myself. First order of business is reporting that Marquis Haynes has been placed on injured reserve. He will be out 4 weeks, and it's going to be either Amari Barno or Yetur Gross-Matos that fills that spot. All right, so now let's go to the second part of this thing. The title that we had, and let me zoom in a little bit. Oh, that was out. Let's zoom in a little bit. All right. So, you guys like the blue? Let me know if you like the blue. Do you like the blue? Anyway. So this Brian Burns situation, which is pretty weird, and pretty much I'm going to open up the phone lines, even though this case is video that we do here online at YouTube, to talking about the Brian Burns situation, which is currently he is in the building, he's going to meetings, but he's not participating in the practice. So to me, that's kind of weird. And I want to ask Coach, how long are they willing to be in this kind of middle zone, right? Like, I don't even know how often this has happened, right? That a player is holding out, but he's there. So I know I heard the term today that he's holding in. To me, it just seems weird. And why are you okay with that? Would you not want the guy to just not be there because he's more of a distraction or what, you know? And I also feel bad for fans of the Carolina Panthers because we have not had a good team in a while. You know, those years of Super Bowl appearance and playoffs seems like ages ago. And when Bryce Young was picked up, Frank Reich, his all-star staff came in, then you're like excited. There's hope. There's possibilities. And I feel like a lot of people really say, hey, they don't have to be great. They just have to compete, have to show some promise, have to show some hope, and I'll be happy. And we can't even get into the first week, and we have had a plethora of wide receivers go down due to injury. Numerous. I think it's 3 or 4, right? And then you have Brian Burns, who knows that he wants a new contract, but he's in training camp. He's in preseason, so you're feeling optimistic about things. He's certainly not practicing. So it's like, man, we finally get a glimmer of hope, and then fans have to deal with the fact that now you got a player that's holding out, And it's like we haven't even got good yet. It just seems weird. And to further, I guess, agitate Panther fans, how about this? Scott Fitter, that I like so much, seems so transparent. It's like, hey, he says we're going to get a guy, we're going to keep a guy. He keeps a guy, right? And he's been saying that about Brian Burns for quite a while. Like, we're going to get him. He's an important piece. And then we all remember this. It was 2 first rounds and a second round for Brian Burns. And we're like, nah. We good. We got what we want. And I'm okay with that in the sense of, I forget the exact saying, but you know what you got in Brian Burns. You don't know what you're going to get in the draft. You could hope, you could wish, but sometimes you just want to stay with what was a bird in the hand is better. I don't know the saying, but you all, I'm sure, probably know. So I wasn't too mad at that, but to me, it certainly says, okay, bar set. You know that you want Brian. Brian has agent. Everybody in the world knows that you declined this trade. So it shouldn't be an issue when it comes to paying him, why are we where we are? I don't know. I've been digging just like many other reporters are trying to dig and try to get some kind of good idea. The biggest thing that you could think about is, well, maybe he just really, really wants Bosa's contract to be set so then he can know what he's going to do. But Coach Frank Reich talked about this today, so let's go ahead and listen in case you guys haven't heard. I compiled it all together for you so you can hit it right here.
Was Brian participating today in the walkthrough?
He did not participate.
Is that because of contract?
That was a personal matter to him. I'll defer to him on that.
Reich, any concern he may not?
And a quick little pause right in this video. I think Frank Reich has to work on his poker face, right? Because at one point he's like, no, then yes, then I give up. I think our coach has to work on his poker face for some situations on what he wants to say, what he wants to hide. But nevertheless, let me let this play on out.
Be available in week 1?
Again, I'm going to defer. I'll defer to Brian on that. I mean, just as I wouldn't say this about, I just would generally speak and say about any of our players, just that, I would, anyway, I'll just defer to Brian on that.
Well, do you know?
Anyway, I'll just defer. I mean, know what you want to say, Frank.
Whether Brian's situation is tied at all to Nick Bosa.
I do not.
In terms of wanting to see what Bosa gets.
Yeah, I do not know the answer to that question.
All right, thanks.
So, you see their coach was like, yeah, he paused like he wanted to say, I would think so. But like, I don't know the answer to that question. I'm not mad at Frank. I just poking fun. I think he needs to work on his poker face a little bit. But yeah, that's what we're currently dealing with. A few more things are, we got some dinged up players, Miles Sanders, Chuba, wide receivers, Terrace Marshall, LaVisca, etc. Excuse me. No updates on that stuff. So, wow, excuse me again. A lot of official reports are going to come out Wednesday. That's when teams are obligated to report on injuries and other official matters before the game. That's also when players, for the most part, consider like this is when the week begins. This is when you put in the real work in preparing for your upcoming opponent. And a lot of people say that's the next big deadline is Wednesday. Shaq Thompson was speaking today. It's like, we got to have him in here on Wednesday because, again, that's when you go through the intricacies of the game plan for your upcoming opponent, which for us will be a divisional opponent, the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. All right. So formal injury updates will take place on Wednesday, as well as who will be opposite of Brady Christensen on the line. Been looking like it's going to be Chandler Zavala. Coach will not make that formal until Wednesday, at which point he promised us that he'd go into much more detail and be really upfront about a lot of things as they get ready to prepare for the Atlanta Falcons. Hey, continue to hit the like button. Super chats are always welcome. Join the channel, help support us, independent media. All right, so there's a link that I've already put in the comments. Let me see if I can pin it to the top in case somebody wants to come on and join us, which I hope somebody does. Let me know what you feel, how you're thinking. But let me go ahead and see if I can't pin this in the comments. And then we'll go over a few more things. Let's see. Hope everybody's having a good Memorial Day. Memorial Day, it's Labor Day, I'm sorry. Let's see. All right, so I just pinned that to the top in case anybody wants to join us here. Let's go through these comments. Knucklehead K, practice in preseason is less intense than a regular season game. Oh, look at that. We got somebody coming in. So let me try to go to this person here. Actually, I'm going to finish reading this comment, and then I'll bring this person on. Can't see your video yet. So once I can see your video, then we can go to the next step. But Knucklehead says, practice and preseason is less intense than a regular season game for someone who's a true part of the 53. So him sitting out now is more so for his protection against getting hurt. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Appreciate the comment there. Knucklehead K. All right. Panthers Prime Podcast. I can see your video, so I'm about to bring you on. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you?
Good. Appreciate you coming and joining me.
Absolutely, man. Been watching your channel for a little bit, man. I've been enjoying the content, man. I really have been.
Appreciate you. Trying to work hard, man. Trying to work hard.
Man, likewise, man. Likewise. Absolutely.
How you feeling?
Well, if you asked me this question last week, I probably would have been a little bit better. But the Brian Burns issue, I'm glad you alluded to this with Frank Reich's comments today in the presser. You can tell when Frank is real confident about what he believes because he'll look at more on it. When he wants to keep things a little close to the chest, he's still confident, but he's real concise. But when he's flustered, you can just tell. And that was evident today that he was just flustered with these questions about Brian Burns. And yeah, I thought these questions were probably going to come last week, and we kind of talked about sweet tea with Bryce Young. But I'm glad that they really put the fire up under him today in this presser about this issue because it is an issue. We're going into Atlanta week 1, and we don't know who our defensive end, pass rusher is going to be. That's a big thing for me. So I'm glad we put a little bit of heat up under Frank to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and appreciate you calling in. Let me ask you this. What do you think about the fact that they're letting him come, but they're okay with him not practicing? Is that typical?
It's not typical for a player who hasn't been paid to be in the building. So I think what it's showing is that Brian does have a heart, I guess, in a sense. Like he's showing them that, hey, I want to be here. Money isn't the biggest thing, but it is a big thing. I'm here. You see I'm in the building. I want to get a deal done. Let's make it comparable for both of us. Something that's good for me and good for you guys. So,
any predictions on the resolution for the matter?
It's kind of hard with Chris, Wormley coming in, having, Marquis down and, having, Amari Barno and YGM as backups. I think when we go back to when Frank Reich said in his first of many press conferences that it'd be malpractice if the Carolina Panthers don't look at it, every aspect of the quarterback, situation here, I think it'd be malpractice if we do not sign Brian Burns week 1, going into Atlanta, man.
Hey, appreciate you calling in, man. Please don't hesitate to come back on in the future, all right?
Absolutely, man. Thank you, man.
Yeah, enjoy your evening.
All right.
So, Yeah. So let me tell you about what I think. So will it be? What do I think about the resolution? What do I think is going on? I feel like what may be going on. Again, I couldn't reach any sources to get any inside information. So this is just all my intuition. All right. I feel like Brian Burns knows that he's going to sign his contract. And he's just taking every step that he can at this last minute to allow for that Brian Bosa situation to resolve itself. You know, kind of feeling like the Brian Bosa situation out in San Francisco will be resolved by Wednesday. And so just knowing what that final dollar amount is for him would give him a little bit more leverage to get a few more dollars. But then as I say that, I'm thinking, well, what does it matter in the sense of if you're making $20 million or $21 million or even $20 million and you know, is it $1 million difference? Is it $2 million? I mean, $2 million difference kind of gets you into that. Trying to do my quick math in my head, that might be 10%, which is, you know, that's a decent amount of money if you look at the percentage wise, 20 million and 22 million. But if it's 20 million, 21 million, anyway, I'm just trying to like how much more is he wanting? What is he really trying to get? Because I don't really feel like the Carolina Panthers are saying, well, we don't think you're worth much. And maybe, you know, and maybe this, right? And I can't wait to talk to Scott Fitter because I know he's going to tell us exactly what happened. Maybe both sides are like, yeah, I know you want more. And I like this. All right, I like this. So hear me out. So maybe both sides are in a little bit of an agreement on let's wait to see what Brian Bosa does so we can maximize things for you because we're trying to show you that we really want you to be a part of this team, right? Because think about it. Look at Frank in this press conference. I'm going to play it one more time because we're doing good on time. Let me play this press conference for you one more time and just look at how he seemingly wants to say more, but then he's like, oh, let me still try to make it kind of not clear. So watch. Here we go.
Was Brian participating today in the walkthrough
He did not participate.
because of contract?
That was a personal matter to him. I'll defer
So, you know, that wasn't terrible, but to me, it's a little bit telling.
to him on that.
Reich, any concern he may not be available in week one?
Again, I'm going to defer. I'll defer to Brian on that. I mean, you know, just as I wouldn't say this about.
Why even defer to Brian? Why not defer to maybe Scott? I don't know. But it's still like, he's like shaking it off. It's
I just would
a little
generally
weird.
speak and say about any of our players, you know, just that, you know, anyway, I'll just defer to Brian on that.
Do you know whether Brian's
Now pay real close attention to this one.
situation is tied at all to Nick Bosa?
I do not,
In terms of what,
yeah.
see what Bosa gets.
Yeah. I do not know the answer to that question.
All right, thanks.
So first he said, I do not. Then I do not, you know, answer. So maybe that's my strong feeling right now, just intuition. Because also I think it's unique in that a player's coming, they're in the building, but they don't have but he's not practicing. That's a distraction, right? Like why would you keep wanting such a big distraction? Because Brian Burns was in the locker room today and he's like, hey, I'm not talking. Anyway, let's go through some more of these comments from you guys. Hey, come on the show. There's a link pinned in the comments. Would love to hear how you all feel about how everyone out there thinks about this situation and how you feel about what's going on. What's going on, Supernova? And you know what? Got to say what's up to Chris Johnson. You see that certificate around his name at the end of it? Chris Johnson is a member, one of our first members to join the channel, so I appreciate it very much. Members, I'm always going to try to make sure I take some extra time to see your comments, respond to you, and thank you for supporting the channel because you're the backbone that helps financially support us and keep us going. So Chris Johnson, appreciate you for joining. Thanks for signing in and saying what's up. It's a business risk. The Panthers front office head out of sand. And let's keep on going. Burns ain't rising his 100 million. I can't understand all you guys' comments tonight. Ty says, pay the man. Burns think he Reggie White and played Panthers into a corner. Let me know what you all think about the fact that on my comment of maybe both sides are like, hey, let's try to wait as long as we can to see what Nick's contract is because we like you, Brian. We love you, Brian. We want to pay you out the roof. And we think this situation out in San Francisco is going to materialize pretty quick. And then we'll go ahead and finish you up. If I'm right, I'm going to play this video back 100 times. If I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong, but I won't play the video back. What's going on, Josh? Keep on pounding for sure, for sure. Yeah, he's not in the league of Bosa, which is why I was saying earlier, like it doesn't make any sense too much, right? You know you're not going to try to get 28, 30 million a year, but you know you're going to get paid pretty well. So what exactly are we doing here? Let's see. Mason on YouTube said, what's going on with the Brian Burns situation? Hopefully you're up to date, but he's not leaving. He's under contract. Therefore, this time is kind of considered a holdout of some sorts. He's currently under contract for $16 million this year as the Carolina Panthers picked up their option on him. But he doesn't want to play out this final year without an extension and a new lucrative contract, something a little bit longer term. So we're at this stalemate right now with it. Let's go ahead and jump to 4 more with the super chat, our first one of the night. Appreciate you so much. 4 more. 99 cents. Yeah, so as you see here, folks, super chats can be 99 cents. They can be $99. Doesn't matter. I don't care. It all adds up. We need your support. Independent media. So anytime you can, anytime y'all can do so, please consider doing so. And hey, you don't have to do that to help support the channel. You can hit the like button. You can just always get in the habit of saying, yo, I'm going to make sure each video that Chris and Andre do, it's at least 100 likes. So when I watch, boom. I mean, we got like 8,000 subscribers. So I don't know why we shouldn't be getting 100 likes for each video. Need it, appreciate it. Hope you all will consider doing that for me. Thank you 4 more for that contribution to what we got going on over here. What do you think we should trade him for? Might have missed some comments here because I didn't know we got to talking about trading Brian Burns, but I really don't think that's on the table right now, of trading Brian Burns. I hope 8 or more wins, but for the first season of a new QB and coaching staff, I'll be happy with 7 wins. Rivera and Cam's first season, they only won 6. So, oh man, I'm glad you guys said that because I got to, each year, I ask all the local reporters that cover this team on a day-to-day basis to predict whether or not this team will be going to the playoffs. And I haven't done so, so let me make this note to send this message out to all of the media in Charlotte so I can get this known. Give me just a second. Yeah. All right. So thanks for that comment so I can remember to do that. The game's over. Seems like greed is going on. So, hey, if you're still listening, hopefully you are. You know, I made my comments and talking about it. do you still feel like it's a greed thing on Brian's part? Let me know, game's over, how you feel about that right now. The Mad Chat says he won a lot more than $21 million annually. What does he want? 25? You know, I was just picking that number off the top of my head, saying that I know he should not get the same thing that that a Watt or Bosa kind of player gets at that 28. But is he? You know, are they offering him 25? And he wants 27? I just wonder. I have a hard time feeling like they as in the Panthers, aren't offering him an in-line price, considering, again, what they were offered before in trade for him. Appreciate the comments, Matt Chowder. You're always pretty active. I like it. I like it. Panthers Prime Podcast says that might be the reason for real, that, and I guess he's going with the greed part. But I don't. So to me, Brian Burns doesn't seem like the kind of guy. I'm thinking as I say this. I mean, what he would say, I want more than Brian Bosa. I mean, I'm sorry, Nick Bosa. I'm combining names. I don't know. But this is an interactive conversation, so I love the comments. Would love it if one more person has the confidence to come and join me online. It's fun. It's easy. You know, it's a community that we're building here, so please get used to it. Be comfortable. Come on the show. Let's talk about this Carolina Panthers team and what's going on. It's a lot of fun. Knucklehead cases, I think it's because of Bosa, in all honesty. That's kind of what I'm feeling. Roy Allen agrees, Nick Bosa. I saw they offered him a contract at some point. Angela says Burns going to be there. Let's stop playing. All right, we got a good comment here from T. Wells. Honestly, I feel it's just the verbiage of the contract, because ain't no way you still show up on the time for team meetings if you are way off the terms. Heck, Bosa didn't even show up to OTAs and training. I like the comment, T. Wells. What do you think of the comment that I made in terms of this contract? What do you think about the fact that they are probably pretty close in terms of the contract dollar amount, but both sides are like, well, the Panthers are like, hey, we want you here, Brian. You're the man. You've been a captain. You're the rock. We know that you guys want to make sure there's something comparable to what is currently set in the league, and we know that this new contract is going to set the new mark. So let's wait, and we'll agree to saying that it's all right for us if you're coming, but you're not practicing, because we both know that the contract's done. We know what we're trying to do. We just need to wait for that Bosa thing to be done. What do you think of that, T. Wells? Always, man, if I could jump on here. You've been around. Bring good content. And let me tell you, there's some more. I can't say everything yet. So there's another video that I put up last week asking you all, who did you want me to bring on the show? Well, not bring on the show, but who do you want me to sit down and interview this week? And it's been all over the place, from Shaq Thompson to a J.C. Horn to, I forget at the moment because it's late now, I had a long day, the new guy that they just picked up at tail end, a new wide receiver that they traded for right along the time, so they're doing a 53-man roster. Now, I do have an interview that I'm supposed to have with a person, but we can't tie it down yet. So that's where it's going to come, and I'll go back to interviewing whoever you all want if I turn out to not be able to get the person that I really want to get. And And actually, as I say that, I'm starting to put some stuff together. Nevertheless, look at here. Panthers Prime Podcast. Scott will get the deal done. Appreciate the super chat, man. That $1.99 goes a long way. So appreciate you. You also came on the show for a minute, so appreciate you. Love the support. What time is it? 10:38. We got about 7 more minutes we'll spend on here. Nobody has said anything about the blue background. Why not? Do you like the blue background? Do you not like the blue background? Talk to me. Chris, I think you're probably really onto something. Both are gonna come in at $31 million. Burns should come in at $23 annual. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and look up, see if I can quickly look up like the pay for defensive end / edge rushers. And I probably should have done this before I got on here so I can make sure I'm at a a good website to tell me this. But nevertheless, TJ Watt at 28, Bosa currently at 27, Myles Garrett at 25, Khalil Mack at 23, Max Crosby at 23, Bradley Chubb at 22, Von Miller at 20. Where's Brian Burns at on this list? Well, I guess he's not on here because it hadn't gone up for this current year. So let's say Brian Burns is a top 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll put him at 23.5. Matt Chatter, shouts out to you for your homework. I was just picking round numbers when I said the 20, just trying to say like, you know, what are we dealing with here? Looking at percentages, but 23.5, maybe 25. Really, maybe 25. I got to read this from Ray. Al. Jesus replied, "You do not realize now what am I doing, but later you will understand." I like that. Let's see. Burns going to play, and it ain't going to be a problem. Burns loves us, and he was there all of the offseason and training camp. Why would he hold out? Okay. See if there's any other new comments. What's going on, AJ Lindsay? Appreciate you tuning in. All right, Mason on YouTube, I'm here for you. I cannot be man of the people if I don't make a point to help everybody out that's on here, that's understanding, because it's very important for you all to feel like you're a part of this channel and that you're connected to myself and that you have a resource in the media. So we're worried about Bosa's contract because he's currently the best edge rusher that's out there that is in need of a new contract. And it is believed that when you're pretty much at the top of the game and you get a contract, you're going to reset everything in the market. This current website that I'm looking at says TJ Watt is the highest paid at $28 per year. Bosa is expected to exceed that. So when they're negotiating, you try to do stuff that's comparable. You say, hey, maybe I'm not the number 1 guy, but I'm certainly a top 5 guy. Right now, Bosa's not even in here. Bosa's not paid much at all, right? So now when Bosa signs his new contract, and let's just say that Brian Burns was arguing for a top 5 spot, Right now, that top five, that fifth position is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's $23.5 million. Bosa could sign his new contract, and now that fifth spot is $25 million. So that's difference of $2 million. You sign a 4-year contract, that's $8 million. It also could affect his guaranteed money. The top 4 guys have gotten guaranteed money of pretty much $80 million and up. Drop down to the next, and then it goes down to about $50 million. So that's $30 million difference in guarantee, which might be where this bigger conversation is also being had earlier. Earlier I talked about them maybe wanting to wait until Bosa to make sure that, hey, we're definitely giving you a fair deal. But it could also have something to do with the guaranteed money because those guys are getting, again, top 5-ish, you're looking at about 80 million plus guaranteed. Drop down below that, now you go to 50 million. To me, that's much more significant than whether I'm getting paid 25 million a year or 27. Give me 30 more million dollars in guaranteed money. That's significant. So that's why, Mason, on YouTube, we are concerned about Bosa's contract. Let's see. T. Wells, I'm sorry that you're having problems trying to jump on. It's taking you through loops. For the most part, I've been told it's pretty easy. So I don't know for you if it's just resetting your phone, resetting your computer to get on. But generally just ask you for your name. And then you hit the button that says continue. And then you have the option. So if it doesn't work tonight, please consider to try again next time that I'm on. Sorry it ain't working for you. My man Josh likes the blue background. Appreciate it. Unapologetic likes the blue background. The game's over says 24 million max for Burns. He's a top 10 pass rusher, not a top 5. Okay. Good stuff. Lots of good stuff. Lots of good conversation going on in here. Background close, a little cloudy blue. Yes, it's a little cloudy. It's a little cloudy. So I've got different lights in here that I'm trying, and I'm sure it won't take me long to perfect the blue. But like watch. Let me see if I can try to get rid of a little bit of the cloudiness here. I don't want to waste too much time with it, but is it a little less cloudy on that side? I think it's a little less cloudy, but anyway. Matt knows nothing. Hola, amigo. Hola, amigo. Absolutely, Burns is not all over the field making plays like Watt. Needs to be reasonable. Reasonable. Like he's our only rush dude, had all the leverage. He's a top 10 rusher, but because we are lacking so bad at the position, we got to pay top 5. I like that. I like that, Nelson. I like that. What's the Cash App? Now look, Nelson, I appreciate you. Let me go to Knucklehead K. What's the Cash App? I know YouTube try to get their cut. Yes. That is why we do have plenty of options. YouTube takes, I know for our memberships, they take 30%. It's not, it's not a kind cut, but it's, it is what it is. But if you do want to use Cash App, which means I don't have to give 30% over to YouTube, it is in the description in case anybody wants to Cash App us to help support the channel. We're traveling down to Atlanta, so we don't have the high cost that we normally have when we travel, have to fly to a location. But what I'm promising you guys that you're going to get from this channel this whole season is I'm going to make sure that one person is at every single game, whether that's a journalist or a photographer. Each person being at a game that's away, on the road, flight, hotel, car, it's pretty much $800. That's on the good part. You know, it certainly can go up to about $1,200 depending on the city, hotel costs, etc. So, and it's all from the monies we get from you guys. There's no law firm. There's no whatever. So anyway, that all goes to say, super appreciate anytime you all do so and can do so. The Cash App is CVIBE, CVIBE. And again, that information is in the description. Knucklehead, appreciate you looking out. This is definitely a crazy situation. Front office kind of put themselves in a corner. That's why I really think that it's not so much that they're at a deadlock. I really don't. Like, it would make no sense. I really feel like it's more of, let's wait for Bosa, and then we'll see. That's my 2 cents. Appreciate you, Knucklehead K, with the $10 Cash App to the show. Appreciate it very, very much. So I'm going to go ahead and end it for now. You all can continue to expect videos anytime there's Panthers news. Tuesday is off. Certainly if there's some movement on the Brian Burns situation, we'll go live tomorrow. But otherwise, you could expect Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I'm saying it right now, expect a heck of a show for our pregame in Atlanta. We're going to prepare for that show all week. Going to be get you really set up from the preseason, get you set up to what to expect from the Panthers, what they're going to be up against with the Falcons. Going to be a lot of detailed information. We did our preseason, and also I'm thinking that we're going to make the preseason shows this year where you all can call in. It's going to be a much shorter period of time that you're able to do so because we have so many other things that we're trying to do and so much information that we're trying to get out so everybody can be informed about the game. So we're going to do that first. And then whatever remaining time we have from that, we're going to open it up to talking and interacting with our supporters. Okay, so definitely I'm excited about Atlanta. It's finally here and look forward to it. So appreciate every single person that's come on here. Appreciate everybody that watches the rebroadcast. Still, I got some tricks up my sleeve to get to 10,000 subscribers because I want to get to that mark because the bigger we grow, it helps tremendously for me to get players and coaches on the show because they know that they're going to be heard. Everybody likes to be heard, especially when they take the time out from their busy schedules of planning for their next opponent, practicing to come and sit down and talk with me. It's always a little bit more incentive and fun for the guys when they know they're going to be seen by a lot of people. So that is it for now. Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte Vibe. We'll talk to you all soon. Hope everybody had a good Labor Day.